guys, this is Maria. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be a mixture of a vlog and also just an update for pregnancy. I am actually heading over to my 16 weeks ultrasound where we're gonna do the anatomy, and it would have been my second ultrasound during this pregnancy if I have not gone into ER last week, which I'll talk later about it in this video. So I will go ahead and do the ultrasound and share with you all kinds of results and everything that has been going on, and then also give you my pregnancy symptoms, which is surprisingly quite a bit more from last week's update, and also share with you my high-risk pregnancy factors and what we're doing this time around. I do want to kind of preface this that they found that I have a placenta previa, so that will be a big part of today's appointment. I now also am starting my progesterone shots today, and there was a lot of back and forth in our family, so I'm going to talk about all of that. And now let's go.
Nothing really matters if you're not mine, right here, right now. And even if the world ends, then I'll be fine. No fear, no doubt. I know a place that sneak away.
So I had a very interesting appointment, and I'm actually really happy right now. Based on my ultrasound technician comments, because she can't share much with me until the doctor reviews it, it didn't sound like I have placenta previa. And the doctor before also messaged me and said, like, you can't diagnose it this early. And she said, like, only out of 100, only 5% will actually end up having placenta previa. So I think I'm all right, which is awesome. I'm still going to take the precautions for that. But I'll tell you about like my ER visit, and I'm so happy that I have not shared it with like family yet, because everybody would be freaking out like I was and like go through the same stress that I did for the last week. And I think I'm all right. I think I'm okay, which is awesome. And I didn't get my progesterone shots yet because McKenna called me from a unknown number, so now I have to go through the whole process of that. And now I'm gonna go home, share the video with the kiddos, and then I will give you the update. It's been about a few days since my ultrasound, so I've gotten all of my results, including my blood test, which I will talk about after I go over all the fun symptoms that happened recently, and some not so fun. So the very first thing I want to share with you, that's the size of the baby. It's about between 7 inches and 7 3/4. Based on the internet, and that's the size of my kid's shoe, which is kind of funny. Also, the weight gain should be between 5 and 10 pounds, and I've gained 6.5 pounds, which is rather good. The best symptom that I've recently experienced is the kicking. I've been feeling flutters for a while, but they were so gentle, and I was like, wow, am I really feeling them? Now I can tell, like at 16 weeks, I really feel them, and if I put my hand on my belly, I can actually feel them on the outside too. I've been trying to get Justin, but it's really hard to time because they're really sporadic and they're not consistent. So now between 16 and 20 weeks, it's going to become even more and more and more. So this is truly like one of the funnest things that happens in pregnancy, is feeling your baby move, and then later on you can see like their little body parts sticking out on your tummy. The baby is growing pretty rapidly in these weeks, and I definitely can tell that even from my last pregnancy update. I started feeling around ligaments pain. That's the pain that goes on the sides of your tummy, and it's typically goes both sides. Sometimes if I move not the right way, I feel like a little bit of a shooting pain. Another not so fun symptom have been a pretty severe lower back pains at night. So it's actually for the last 3 nights I've been woken up and I couldn't go to sleep just because I can't get comfortable and my lower back is on fire. It seems to be normal. The only thing that you need to watch out for if you start getting cramps and your tummy gets really tight, because that could be a sign of the preterm labor, which is super scary. But at night everything is scary. So when I wake up and I feel that lower back pain, I just take 10 deep breaths and I just try to get myself comfortable. What also helps me is I usually sleep on one of my sides. They say better to sleep on the left side because of the artery that runs through your body. But in the night, what I noticed that helps me, I lay on my back, lift my feet up with a few pillows, prop them up, and that kind of relieves it. A lot of the reasons why you have that back pain, and it's really common, actually 70% of women experience back pain, period, even before pregnancy. And in pregnancy, pretty much everybody experiences it. It's because your uterus is stretching and all the muscle stretching, the balance kind of gets off. And also when you're laying down, your baby could be laying on some of your nerve endings, and that creates that kind of pain and pressure. And that, from what I remember, doesn't really stop. I think it's a little early for me this time. I don't remember feeling the round ligaments pain up until 20 weeks in the past, but it is also my third pregnancy. Okay, so those are all my major new symptoms that has been happening. Now I'm gonna talk about my results and everything that's going on with being high-risk pregnancy, and mention my ER visit that I talked in the beginning of this video. So all of my results came back great so far. I did my early blood sugar test because I had the gestational diabetes in the previous pregnancy. They did it at 16 weeks, and my sugar is actually on my sugar tolerance is in a very good range. So there's a range from I think it's 89 to 139, and I was at 92. And 139 is where you have a higher chances of developing gestational diabetes, which is, if you ever come close to it, it's a pain, but it's not as bad as it sounds. Let's put it that way. So I don't know if me getting this result right now means I'm not going to develop gestational diabetes during this pregnancy at all. That's something for me to ask my doctor. During my ultrasound, I did think it was an anatomy scan, and it's not. It's only at 20 weeks. My cervix is a good length, and it's been a good length with all of my pregnancies. That's not why I go into labor early. Mine is about 4 centimeters, which I don't know what it is in inches, but they measure it in centimeters. So I believe it is 4 to 5 is a norm for about 16 weeks. So if your cervix is a good length, you're good there. And now let's talk about my ER visit. So about a week and a half ago, I started feeling a sensation of leaking, and I googled it, of course, and then I looked and it said that if it doesn't smell like pee, you might be leaking your amniotic fluid. I have a high risk, and my high risk is due to premature rupture of membranes, which is your water breaking early. Mine breaks to the day at 35 weeks for both of my children. So I've never had an issue earlier, but again, it's my third pregnancy. I'm also, 34 years old. So I have a lot of factors. I try not to freak out, but then when I went and I checked and, it kept happening, I pretty much freaked out. I called my gynecology doctor and they told me to go to ER. I went to ER, a mess, guys. I was crying. I was so upset. I just so scared. They did all the tests on me and I was not leaking amniotic fluid, thankfully. They did an ultrasound as well to check what was going on, and they found that my placenta is really low, and they put a diagnosis of placenta previa, a complete placenta previa, which means that a placenta is fully covering your cervix, meaning that, let's say if it stays that way, when it's time for you to go in labor, you cannot go and do vaginal labor, you have to do a C-section. There's also lots of complications connected to it, like bleeding and, premature labor, which I already have a red flag for. So it was, I was very, very relieved that my water is fine, but finding out that I had a placenta previa kind of put me down for another week. That's why I was so excited when I went to my doctor. Now, at my doctor's office, what they told me that you cannot diagnose placenta previa that early because pretty much everybody has it. Your uterus is so small and your placenta is really big. So there is not much space for the placenta to be, period. Now, what they will be doing is watch it and see if it kind of migrates. If you had a previous C-section, because I already read up on it and it was in the papers, placenta can attach it where your C-section cut was done. It kind of depends on that. So I do have a bit of a risk for that. For now, what I was told is to limit my activity, no sex, and yeah, just be very careful and mindful. Even if I go for a walk or do something, if I feel cramping, like no cramping is allowed, like stuff like that. But it didn't seem like I have placenta previa right now. What I have is a low-lying placenta, and we're gonna keep watching it. At this point, there is nothing else to do. I don't know if it is due to that placenta being the way it is. I do get tired much more when I'm in my second trimester. And with my first pregnancy, we used to take like 3-mile walks. I worked out every single day. I had energy, I wore heels. And it could be different things, right? It could be not placenta. It could be just be a combination of my age, the pregnancy, and the I don't know what it is. But anyways, I get tired and I have to take breaks. Like even if I picked up around the house and then I just like, okay, I need to lay down on my side for some time. And you know, second trimester surely should have more energy than that. So I do have it, but I do also follow my body. And I actually cut down even on walks, again, just because I definitely do not want to go into labor too early. So our goal from now on is to make it another 20 weeks, even though my official due date is July 28th, the doctor and I are hoping for July 7th, which would put me at about 37 weeks. I've been taking more vitamin C, and I've been taking vitamin E on top of all the other supplements that I've shared with you in one of my videos, because that somehow helps with, you know, it could help potentially with the sac. So amniotic fluid does not leak, it doesn't get punctured as easily. I don't know if it's gonna help. My next thing that I'm also will be doing, and we had a lot of back and forth, is progesterone shots by Makina. So we don't know if it helps me. Justin was born at 35 weeks, just like Scarlett, to the day. I lost my mucus plug with Scarlett. I had a gush of water, it just came out. With Justin, I lost my mucus plug and I went into labor. I didn't go fully into labor actually, because he didn't tolerate contractions, so I had a C-section with him. Now, there is always to be said, what if I did not take it, right? Maybe my mucus plug would come out even earlier. So there's always unknowns, there's not enough studies. There is a potential the FDA will pull Makina out of recommended medications for PROM. That's what I have, it's premature rupture of membranes. But as far as now, I've went online and I've read all kinds of blog posts from other mothers that had experienced what I have experienced. And if you're watching this and you had a story of somebody you know who had a premature rupture of membranes in the past, declined Makina, and went the same amount of time, I'd like to hear it, because so far I've made a decision that I'm going forward with Makina shots, just because even though I don't know if it helps me, I think if anything would have happened, I would not be able to live with it and know that I could have potentially done at least some. This kind of wraps up everything that's been going on in the past 2 weeks. It's been a lot, and that's probably why I wasn't so active. And if you see that my posts are off, like, you know, I used to post 2 times a week consistently, it's because life is just crazy with work, 2 kids, and pregnancy. So you forgive me, I still will bring you lots of content related not only to pregnancy, but again, let's end this video on a fun note of that it's one of the most exciting times, and it is definitely a beautiful thing. I feel great. So one thing I want to say is that regardless of everything, all the complications that I've talked about, physically, I feel great. And I felt great with all of my pregnancies. The only thing that I get a little bit more tired this time around than I did before. So that's positive. All right, I hope you guys enjoy following me along on this pregnancy. Let's do it together if you're also pregnant. If you like this video, make sure to give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you later.